Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna discuss paper 3, March 2019 variant 2. And I'll be discussing first 17 questions of this paper, and these questions are really important for midterm examinations, and let's see how can we solve them. And all of you are advised to stop the video whenever I show you the question. You can stop the video and you can read the question and try to figure it out and finalize the answer you think is correct. Afterwards, you can again play the video and you can see what is the correct answer for that. I'll be explaining each and every question one by one. Question number 1 says a project has a social cost of $100 million, private cost of $40 million, and an external cost and an external benefit of $20 million. Its net social value is 0. Net social value means the net value of social benefits minus social cost will be 0. What can be concluded about the project?
The answer for question number 1 is A. External cost is greater than external benefit. External benefit is given in the question, that is $20 million, and external cost is the difference between social cost and private cost. Social cost is 100 and private cost is 40, so external cost will be 60. External cost is greater than external benefit.
Okay, now moving to question number 2. Question number 2 says the diagram shows cost and revenue curves for a firm. At which price does allocative efficiency occur? Allocative efficiency, the condition for allocative efficiency is really simple. And allocative efficiency is achieved when marginal cost is equal to average revenue. And we can see that this is marginal cost and this is average revenue, and marginal cost, average revenue intersect each other at this point, where you can see that option A is correct. So price will be A. Now moving to question number 3. Question number 3 says a government is considering improving the rail links in its country. It also has to choose one of 4 high-speed routes. The benefits and cost of each route are shown below. Which route should be chosen? Okay, when we undergo any kind of cost benefit analysis, we consider that benefits must be greater than cost, or benefits and cost. So in this case, what we can do is we can find out social benefits and social cost. When social benefits are greater than social cost, it shows the project is feasible to do. And in this case, examiner is saying that which route should be chosen. So we will find out the difference between social benefits and social cost, and which gives maximum net benefits, we will consider that route. So net social benefits or net benefits are equal to social benefits minus social cost. And we know that social cost is equal to private cost plus external cost. So this will, by adding these values, we will get social cost, and private benefit plus external benefit will give us social benefit. So we can add the values, and correct answer for this question is B, because social benefits of this project are more than all other projects given in this question. So social benefit equals to 16 plus 28 is equal to 38. So social benefits are overall 38, and social costs are 1.6 plus 0.2 equals to 2. So if we deduct 2 from 38, we get $36 billion. So this is the maximum gap between social benefits and social costs. So you can verify other options as well. So this is the best option, where social benefits, the gap between social benefits and social cost is positive and it is maximum. So this project is giving maximum benefits and it costs less. Question number 4 says the table shows the total utility gained by consumer as they consume more apples. At which level of consumption would the marginal utility be 0? Marginal utility is the additional utility that we obtain by using one additional unit of a product. So if we consume 6 unit, it means we get no additional unit utility. So marginal utility at this point will be 0. So marginal utility is change in total utility divided by change in quantity. So if we move from 5th to 6th unit, mean we change 1 unit, there is 0 change in total utility. So marginal utility will be 0. So at 6th unit, marginal utility is equal to 0. Okay, now coming to question number 5. In the indifference curve diagram, point M is the consumer's initial consumer equilibrium. J, K, and JL are budget lines, and MN is the substitution effect of a fall in price of good X. If good X is a given goods are basically the worst quality products, very poor quality products, and consumers purchase them when their purchasing power is very low. So which point will be the consumer's new equilibrium point after the fall in price of X? X is a given good. Consumer was initially purchasing at M. At M, he is purchasing this much quantity of given good. Now, if price of X falls, then quantity demand for X will also fall, because fall in price of X increases purchasing power of consumer. When purchasing power of consumer increases, then they purchase lesser quantity of given goods, very poor quality products. So it means quantity should decrease from Q to Q1, and you can now see that at Q1 new equilibrium is at point A. So A is the correct answer for this. Okay, in question number 6, examiner says that Selena has an income of $100, and which combination of spending would suggest that Selena wants to save some of her income? So we can see by multiplying price into quantity. If consumer has $100 income, if he purchases 20 units of food and price of food is $2, so 20 into 2 is equal to 40. It means $40 is spent on food, and price of drink is $1, so 15 to 1 is equal to 50. So total income spent by her is 40 plus 50, that is equal to 90, and total income was 100. It means she is saving $10. And now if we move to option B, uh, by purchasing 30 units of food, she will be spending $60 here, and by spending by spending $40 on drink, she will be spending 40 total, and 40 plus 60 is equal to 100. So 100 minus 100 will give 0. So she is saving nothing here, and in this case again 40 into 2 is equal to 80, and 20 into 1 is equal to 20. So she is again spending total income, and she is spending 50 into $200, and she can spend nothing of it. So it means in this situation she is spending $110, which is more than her income, and it is not possible for her. She is saving maximum income in case of option A, when her spending is equal to 90 and her income is equal to 100. So she is saving $10. The diagram shows a profit maximizing monopolist. What would be the change in price if this monopolist changed from profit maximization to revenue maximization? Profit maximization, condition for profit maximization is MC should be equal to MR, and MC is equal to MR at this point, and you can see that price charged for profit maximization is R, quantity produced is this much. And the condition for revenue maximization is marginal revenue should be equal to 0, and marginal revenue is 0 at this point, and we can draw perpendicular till average revenue because price is always equal to average revenue. So this is the revenue maximizing price. So if firm wants to change its aim from profit maximization to revenue maximization, then it should change price from R to S. So A is correct answer. Question number 8 says, the goal of firm X is to make minimum acceptable level of profit. What does this describe? This is definitely option B, profit satisficing. When firm wants to achieve at least minimum level of profit which is accepted or which keeps all stakeholders satisfied is satisfying profit. So B option is correct. And in question number 9, a monopoly firm makes only normal profit in the long run. What is most likely to explain this? So D is the correct answer. The market in this industry is highly contestable. When market is contestable, definitely new firms can enter the industry. And when new firms can enter the industry, there will be normal profit in the long run. Moving to question number 10, the diagram shows average fixed cost, average variable cost, average total cost curve faced by three firms X, Y, and Z. DX, DY, and DZ are three respective demand curves. All three firms seek to make a profit. Which statement is not correct? Option B is correct. In option B, it says the firm Y is likely to operate in the long run but not in the short run. In short run period of time, firms continue operating if their price is higher than average variable cost. So demand curve dy is the demand for firm Y. So firm Y has greater price or demand than the average cost, average variable cost. So it will continue in the short run. So examiner says that which statement is not correct. So this statement is wrong. All other statements are correct. When a firm increases all its inputs fourfold, its output increases threefold. What does this mean? You can translate this statement like this. If firm increases inputs 4 times, its output increases by 3 times. It means output is increasing but lesser than the increase in input. It happens in case of decreasing returns to scale. Like if we increase input, output will increase but with lesser than increase in input. For example, if we increase 100% input and output increases by less than 100%, then it will be decreasing or diminishing returns to scale. Question number 12 says, what represents the transfer earning of a factor enterprise? Earning of enterprise is profit, definitely. So option B is correct answer. Normal profit is the transfer earning of. If we shift enterprise to another use, then normal profit will be the transfer earning. A country has a negative income tax. The curve NT in the diagram shows the country's initial tax schedule. This is initial tax schedule. A change in tax rate causes the schedule to shift to NT1. So new schedule is NT1. When it moves to NT1, it means it is moving towards tax rate. So tax rate would be high at this and tax rate at NT would be lesser. It means at each level of income, for example, if we consider this much income, at this income you can see that tax on NT would be this much and tax rate on this would be this much. So NT1 has greater tax rate as compared to NT at each level of income. How will this affect work incentives and after tax distribution of income? Distribution of income will be definitely more equal, so we can choose this option or this option. We can cancel out these two options. Why distribution of income will be more equal? Because when tax rate increases, we call it progressive tax. In case of progressive tax, the people with high income pay high taxes, so their disposable income will fall. So the disposable income of rich will fall and disposable income of poor will rise. The income gap between them will continuously fall. So more equal distribution is achieved when there is increase in tax rate at each level of income. But what will happen to work incentive? Work incentives will weaken because when you know that if you earn high, government will charge high taxes, so it will reduce your incentive to work. In which labor market diagram is the economic rent of workers greatest? And in description, I will share with you the video link of economic rent and transfer earning. I suggest all of you to watch that video. In that video, I have already explained in detail how to calculate economic rent and transfer earning from graph. However, in this specific question, C is the correct answer because in case of C, option C, entire income will be converted into economic rent because supply of labor is perfectly inelastic. It means Initially, worker is earning OW, let's say this is point E and this is L star. So original earning of an individual is OW star, EL star. So this is total earning. If he leaves this job, since he is specialist worker, he can do nothing instead of the work he already is doing. So whatever he was earning will be treated as economic rent because his total earning from next best alternative job will be zero. Which statement about government intervention is correct? Option A is the correct answer. And in option A, government failure may result from policies that have unintended side effects. So government failure is basically when government makes any kind of policy and that policy unintentionally creates some side effects, then it will be a government failure. And what happens generally, government makes policies to correct some economic issue, but instead of correcting that economic issue further increases. That is called government failure. In question number 16, the government introduces minimum wage above the equilibrium wage rate. How will this affect low paid workers according to marginal revenue product of labor theory? So some low paid workers will lose their job. It is the correct answer. Why they will lose the job? As per the basic principle of minimum wage rate, this is demand for labor, supply of labor, equilibrium wage rate is W, and employment is this much. And if government imposes minimum wage is the wage rate set by government above equilibrium. So this is minimum wage rate, WM. What it results is, it results in fall in demand for labor. So initially employment was this, now employers will be demanding this much amount of workers because wage rate is low, wage rate is high. When wage rate is high, demand for workers decreases. So now employment will decrease to this. It means unemployment will rise. So when unemployment rises, workers lose their jobs. So D is correct answer. You might be confused with the concept of minimum wage. Minimum wage rate is always set above equilibrium because minimum wage mean minimum wage limit. Government says that employers should pay more than this, but they cannot pay less than that, this amount of money. So minimum wage rate is always above equilibrium to support workers. Okay, the last question of this video is question number 17. The diagram shows the market for a good that creates negative externality in production and no positive externalities. The current level of consumption is OQ1. So OQ1 is the current level of consumption. It means initial equilibrium is at this point where marginal private cost is equal to marginal private benefit and price is P. Now what happens? The government decided to tax producers of the good. When government charges tax, then marginal private cost will move upward. Now supply curve will move to the left from S to S1. And initial supply curve was S1, now supply curve is S2. Which size of tax on producers would result in socially efficient allocation of resources? Socially allocation of resources is where marginal social cost is equal to marginal social benefit. So equality of these two lines will determine the new equilibrium. So new equilibrium for optimum level of output should be at this point where output must be Q2. Okay, so what will be the amount of tax in this case? The amount of tax per unit is calculated by finding the gap, vertical gap between two supply curves. So this is the new supply curve, this was initial supply curve. If we find out the vertical gap between these two supply curves, XV, then XV is the then Vx is the correct answer. Option B is correct answer. Hope it was helpful, and if you want to watch further videos, I suggest all of you to subscribe to this channel and thumb up. Thank you for watching.